Good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible? Devrata, someone say if I'm audible. Okay, thank you. Good
Yes, Shreya,
afternoon to
audible.
one and all. Okay, good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Shreya, the co-host of this event, and I welcome you all. 10th October is celebrated as Mental Health Day all over the world by the initiative of World Health Organization (WHO) to raise awareness and celebrate the works of mental health advocates. This year has been a particularly difficult year, and despite that, all of us has adapted to this new lifestyle and made it the new normal. But in spite of all that, this has taken a huge toll on our mental health. So this year, WHO urges you to invest in your mental health when the future is uncertain and everything feels bleak. It's important to not lose hope or lose yourself amidst this confusion. So we would do like to spread the message of self-care. Now I'll hand over to Nishita to introduce you all of you to ALAP. Thank you.
Sometimes all a person needs is someone else to highlight the obvious. We support the good life choices people are making, but we suggest them do it in under proper guidance. Every day is a do-over and there is always tomorrow. Allah wants to provide support and advice to empower the ones who is facing problems. We want to promote understanding, reducing stigma, and to give a voice to those who have none. We aim to help individuals to lift themselves out of impacts of their problems. We are allowed to cry, allowed to scream, but not allowed to give up because we all are human. Just breathe. Being in problem can make you feel helpless, but you are not helpless. We are here to help you. ALAP is an organization who provides mental health first aid to students by the students. Here is a small presentation from Team ALAP to spread our motto. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We will play that video again later. Right now, I would like to introduce Tanushri Roy from Department of Mechanical Engineering, third semester, who has prepared the Ganesh Vandana to inaugurate the event.
मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहा गणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहा गणपतिं महादेवसुतं आ आ महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटिप्रकाशं शतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटिप्रकाशं शतं महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियम् महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियम् महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकाप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकाप्रियं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहा गणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहा गणपतिं
That was really a soulful start to this amazing event that we have planned across these 2 days for you guys. Now, I would like to introduce the person who has made all this possible, the convener of this event, Devdatta Biswas. Dev,
Thank you, Nishita. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verses 20 and verses 25, the expressions Loka Sangraham evapi sampasya evam Loka Sangraham chikishuh. These translate to with a view to the welfare of the masses and wishing the welfare of the world. The Supreme emphasizes that the wise should always act for the benefit of humankind. I am deeply honored by the presence of every invitee here. Without further ado, I hereby declare the observance event for the World Mental Health Day as open.
thank you, Dev. Now, I would like to introduce you all to Parimita Gedam. Parimita Gedam is doing her bachelor's in psychology from Lady Shriram College, DU. In the past, Parimita has volunteered with a mental health organization called I Am Wellbeing and aided them in counseling of people affected by the February riots that took place in the capital. She has also worked with the NGO FIAPO, or otherwise known as Federation of Indian Animal Protection Organization, and helped spread awareness regarding animal welfare and veganism. She is a mental health advocate who seeks to spread more awareness regarding it and help in busting all the myths associated with it. Paramita, I welcome you to this event and let's hear what all you have to say.
Uh, should I start presenting?
Yes, Parimita, if you are comfortable, then you might start with it right.
Okay, is it at 5:30 or is it right now?
The slots have been rearranged. If you're comfortable
Okay.
with it, please start it right.
Okay.
For Parimita, you can also give a small introduction first, then you can move on to your presentation.
Okay, I'll first of all might need some help with presenting. So first I need to go to present now.
Yes, Parimita,
Okay.
please.
Then entire screen.
Yes.
Click on entire screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Move on to
How do I open the PPT? It's I've opened it in another tab, so
Click on the tab that you have opened on.
Yeah, click
Where
on
you
the
can,
okay.
you can see your screen.
Your PPT is visible.
Yeah, okay, it is ready.
So after I've actually opened Microsoft Open. So after that,
Yeah, so
Open the
we can see your
Microsoft
screen.
PowerPoint.
What you can full screen it. Yeah.
you can see
You
the
may
screen.
start the slideshow. You can start the
Okay.
slideshow and we are able to see it. Yeah, we are able to see it now.
Just a second.
yeah. You can go on here.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we are
Yeah,
able to
it's
see
visible. It's visible.
Okay. Uh, so I'm here to talk about increasing the awareness of mental health all around us. And my name is Paramita, and I'm from Lady Sri Ram College, as I was just introduced to you. So before I begin presenting, I would like to ask you all a couple of questions. So first of all, to all the non-psychology people over here, uh, would I even like to answer what do you mean by psychology? What do you think we study in it?
Study
Anyone?
of human behavior. Study of human behavior.
Okay. Anyone else?
how
I will just add to the previous answer that you study about the behavior as well how, from the data and you research that how a person will respond when he or she will be in some situation and you learn from that and you can uh, predict about that. You can try to learn from their behavior.
Okay. Correct. So yeah, I mean. You all are partly correct. So I would like to add on to what you all just said. I would say that psychology is understood as a scientific discipline in which we study mental processes, behaviors, and experiences of people in a variety of contexts. So, and that's what psychology is all about. And secondly, I would like to ask you all, what is your understanding of mental health? What do you think that these words mean? Would anyone like to answer?
Uh, I think mental health refers to how we feel and what is different emotions that we feel in different situations, like we are happy or we are sad. And mainly good mental health refers to we some positive effect on our mind. I think that is what it means.
Yeah, I think you are correct. So, according to me, I think mental health refers to the health status of a mind, like how healthy a mind is. And also in psychology, we make a distinction between mind and brain. So, mind is like it's a concept which is unique to every individual, and brain is a biological component. I mean, they both are they are interdependent, but they are considered to be separate entities. So, mind is, as I just said, it's a concept, it's unique to every individual, and it's a storehouse of an individual's thoughts, memories, experiences, and perceptions, you can say. So, moving on to checking in, and how do you go about doing it? So, you should pay attention to how your loved ones are doing, but it's equally important to pay attention to yourself as well. So, especially in these unprecedented times that we're living in, amidst a pandemic like we're living, so it becomes all the more important to check in on your loved ones and get to know how they're doing, get to know how your close ones are holding up. As a lot of us, we are dealing with online classes and we're working from home. So, this lifestyle presents in itself a lot of seemingly different challenges. So, it becomes really important for your loved ones to know that you will be there for them, that you're always going to be there for them. So it's important to pay attention to how your loved ones are doing. But it's equally important to pay attention to yourself as well. As you can try doing a feeling check-in in which you can introspect yourself and recognize what emotion have you been feeling right now. And once you recognize your emotion, then you can try accepting what emotion have you been feeling, because it's really important to bring about an acceptance. So, for example, if you're feeling a negative emotion of some kind, and it becomes important to not repress it, but feel it completely, and then it becomes relatively easier to come out of it and feel better after that. So yeah, and then in this slide, what you see is an emotion wheel which contains all the different emotions that you feel at particular points of time in your life. So you can see both positive as well as negative emotions over here, like bad, fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised. So you can take the help of the emotion wheel. So in order to recognize what emotion have you been feeling right now, and yeah, just don't neglect yourself and consider your self care to be very important to you. Moving on to being an active listener and practicing active listening skills. So it becomes really important to for example, if a speaker or one of your friends, they come to you and they talk about their grievances with you. So it becomes important for you to listen to them properly without getting distracted, and try keeping your judgments aside while listening to them, and also try not to intervene them in between, and try not to invalidate their experiences. Also, I would like to add here that hearing and listening are basically two different things. When you're hearing something, you're not paying attention to it. And you get distracted a lot. So it's something going on in the background. So, but if you talk about listening, so if you listen to something, you're alert, you're attentive, and it's like you just put all your focus into listening to the person. So we all need to be active listeners, and especially in today's time, which is the need of the hour. Then I would like you all to notice the difference between empathetic listening and dismissive listening. So I hope you all know what does empathy mean, right? Uh, you know what empathy means, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, empathetic listeners basically like involve saying statements like, "I want to hear you. I'm listening. That sounds heavy. What did that make you feel?" So, what is it that you're exactly doing here? You're basically validating the speaker's experiences and making the person feel heard, so that the speaker like feels valued and feels understood. But on the other hand, if we talk about dismissive listening, it involves saying statements like, "I want to fix you, it could be worse, same thing happened to my friend, what if you try this?" So if you like saying statements like, "I want to fix you," basically points out to this pattern that people have of needing to fix other people. And on the other hand, like if you say, "Same thing happened to my friend," so this means that what is exactly that you're doing over here? You're basically bringing in a person who doesn't even belong in this conversation. So you're disrespecting the speaker over here. And it becomes really important to be mindful of these facts. And also, like, if you do this, then the speaker doesn't feel heard. And also, there's a good chance that he or she might not turn up to you to, to share the grievances or the distresses with you in the future. So you should be mindful of saying these things of empathetic listeners and not of dismissive listeners. So I would like to put forward the importance of establishing boundaries right now. So many a times, as we go about listening to others, it can get quite overwhelming for us. So it is in those times that we need to set certain boundaries in our lives. So communicate. You should communicate, be assertive, learn the art of saying no without sounding rude or mean to others. Say that you need space for a while. Try to briefly explain people the whys of you temporarily distancing from them. So like try attaching certain reasons as to why do you need to distance from them for a certain period of time. Then in the end, I would like to conclude by stating this quote by Sharon Martin, that boundaries are not about trying to control someone or make them change. Boundaries are about establishing how you want to be treated, self-preservation in a chaotic or dangerous environment, and it's a part to healthy relationships. So basically, what is it that she's trying to say over here? She's basically pointing out the importance of self care. So it's the need of the hour for all of us to invest more in self care. And investing in self care doesn't make you selfish because, yeah, self love is really needed. It's really important. So that's all for my part. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Parvita. I would like to ask the audience if there is any question that they would like to ask from Parvita.
Any questions, anyone?
Hi, Paramita.
Hi.
So I would like to ask you about how important is mental first aid.
Mental first aid. Uh, So I think you're talking about checking in over here, which I had talked about in my PPT as well.
Yes.
So as I said, that it's very important in these times to stay in touch with your close ones and get to know how are they holding up, like their coping resources. It becomes important for you to stay in touch with them through like your calls, video calls, text them, whatever you feel right, and so that they feel heard and they don't feel ignored and they know that you will be there for them. So it's really important, especially in these times, such as that it's said that loneliness is also increasing in the times of COVID, as people are they're not coming out of their homes, so they feel lonely. That's why. And also, I would like to say that there's a difference between feeling alone and feeling lonely. So alone is like it's something positive. It has a positive connotation to it, and feeling lonely, on the other hand, it has a negative connotation. So there is a difference between feeling lonely and feeling alone as well. So mental first aid is, yeah, it's really important, especially in these unprecedented times that we're living in these days.
Yeah, is there a difference between sympathy and empathy? How do you distinguish between being sympathetic to someone and being empathetic to someone?
Okay, yeah, there is a difference between the both. So, sympathy basically means feeling bad for someone else, while empathy basically means feeling the pain of the other, trying to feel the pain of the other, trying to, view the problem from the perspective of the speaker and not just from your perspective. Try to understand what emotions would the person be going through. So, yeah, there's a lot of difference between sympathy and empathy.
So you can call it the difference between avenging and revenging, right?
Sorry?
So you can call the difference between empathy and sympathy like the difference between avenging something and revenging something, right?
Uh, no, I don't think so because, like,
It's between avenge and revenge.
okay. Yeah. So, avenge and revenge. I think, yes, could be possible.
Someone else has question? Audience? Anyone?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
Please, sir.
Hello.
Kishamparuda,
Yes?
yeah. Please.
Yes. I had a question that um, what if after like creating boundaries in a way you told us, okay, if someone follows that, okay, and after that it has a counter effect on the person, like he feels or she feels that or she shouldn't have did that, shouldn't have done that, like create a boundary, and what if it creates a distance within him or her and with his close people, so it may have a negative effect, right? So how to decide what kind of a boundary one should create, or when to create,
When to
that is,
create,
and how
I
to
think
create.
I think everyone needs certain space in their lives so
Hmm.
that to facilitate their personal growth. So and there's a manner of going about doing everything. And if you like politely explain to your friends that you need to distance yourself from them for some time, so I think that they will understand. They should ideally understand that you need space from them, and yeah, it's nothing wrong with creating boundaries as it's
No,
important to you as
what
well.
I'm
For
asking
example,
is, like, after explaining briefly that I need space or whatever, and after that, I start feeling bad about it that I did this or that, whatever. So, how do I know that I am doing the right thing? I need to create a boundary or need some space. I might just be confused, right? That might be that is a doubt.
so especially you need to create boundaries, especially in those times when you feel overwhelmed, and like it is in those times that you should create boundaries. So you should be really clear about it. Like as I said, introspect, and hence you will know if you seriously do you want to create boundaries or not.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's
Thanks.
mainly in those times when you feel overwhelmed. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Is the feeling of guilt common after you create a boundary with someone you actually love, but you feel overwhelmed and you need the distance?
Feeling of guilt is common, I think, but boundaries are really essential to be created. So, uh, yeah, feeling of guilt can come about. It is common. But there's nothing wrong with creating boundaries.
There's nothing wrong. Okay, anyone else from the audience? Any questions?
Yes. What is the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist?
Your voice was glitching. Could you please repeat the question?
Manish,
Yes,
फिर से बोलो.
yes, ma'am.
Repeat.
What is the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist?
Okay. So psychologist is someone who is like, like you can understand psychologist as someone who is a psychotherapist who like helps in creating treating mental disorders, while therapist on the other hand, therapists basically have a medical background. Psychologists don't necessarily have a medical background, and also I think therapists like they prescribe you drugs and all, while they prescribe you medications, while psychologists do not.
Okay, one last question. Anyone else from the audience?
Yeah, I wanted to ask one question.
Move ahead with the.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I wanted to know that how can we break the idea of mental health and depression to the people who are elder, or like there is a generation gap between us and them, because the idea which we take about mental health and depression is completely different from what they take about it. They are very light take on it, and they don't want to indulge themselves a lot in thinking about it. I don't know whether in their time it was a need, or they were taught about this or not. But I don't find many older people thinking about this, and even try to spend time to think about this. So how can we break this idea in front of them?
So yeah, in older times, there was no such awareness, very little awareness regarding mental health, and it's all increasing in today's world. And yeah, older people they need to be educated and sensitized about it. That for example, dementia is really common in old age, but like what the family members of the old people, what they think is that no ये तो बुढ़ापे के साथ आ जाता है or something like that, but it needs to be taken seriously. So there should be increased awareness, yes, and I would say that like the young people of the family, they can like educate the older ones by talking to them about it and trying their best to make them understand. As in their times, this awareness was not there.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I have one last question. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when do we know as to when we should, as in, when do we go seek medical help, actual professional help? When do we do that? Like, most of the times when you're feeling low, you can just talk it out with a friend and maybe feel better. But when do you know that you seriously need help from a professional?
Okay. So, we all feel down sometimes. We all have mental breakdown sometimes. And that is completely normal. But if you are talking about a mental illness like depression, so it's something which is prolonged. It doesn't mean that, you're just showing symptoms temporarily. And, it should be something that's consistent in order for you to seek help, and also like the coping resources and the social support that you have around you, so and your network that you have of support. So I think that they would also be able to like understand that it's becoming difficult for them to help now, and that you should seek professional help, you should reach out if you think that problem is getting too overwhelming for you and too hard for you to handle. So it is in these times that you should reach out. Just mainly the thing is the symptoms should be consistent enough. They should not be like like one day of feeling sad, another day of happy. So not like that. Should be something consistent.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, if anyone else
Can I
has
ask a question if I'm permitted?
Okay, please do.
Okay, sometimes people rely on antidepressant pills. So, is it really helpful to rely on medicine regarding mental health?
Okay. So a lot of times, medications are not really necessary for a lot of times. You seek therapy and you talk to the therapist. And so a lot of times just seeking therapy, like it relieves a lot of your symptoms. And taking medications is not always that much needed, I would say.
Thank you.
All right, we will be having Parimita
Now, if
again
someone has
for
a question,
hours, like 1 hour or 1.5 hours. We have one of our guests of honors, so we shall be beginning with it. Thank you, Parimita, for the session. We shall be having this again.
yeah. Up next, I shall be now asking Devdatta to again play the intro video of ALAP because there was a technical glitch earlier because of which the video was not audible. Devdatta, please go ahead.
এই 10 অক্টোবর বিশ্ব মানসিক স্বাস্থ্য দিবস। সেই উপলক্ষে কলেজের ছাত্রছাত্রীদের মানসিক স্বাস্থ্য নিয়ে সচেতন করার জন্য আলাপ দল কিছু কাজ করতে চলেছে। অভিনন্দন জানাই এবং আলাপ দলের প্রতি এই ধরনের কাজের প্রতি আমার শুভকামনা রইল।
Thank you, Devdatta. Now I would like to introduce my friend Tanesh Thabak to please introduce our guest of honors.
ALAP would like to extend a very warm welcome to our guests of honor for today's event. We are having with us Dr. Ushri Bannerjee and Dr. Somdeb Mitra. Dr. Ushri Bannerjee is Assistant Professor in the Department of Applied Psychology, University of Calcutta. She expertises in clinical psychology, child psychology, stress management, counseling and psychotherapy, counseling psychology. We are also having with us Dr. Somdeb Mitra, Assistant Professor in Department of Psychology in University of Calcutta, RCI accredited consultant clinical psychologist, Eastern Zone professional life member of Indian Association of Clinical Psychology, and a member of SIS Inc. Lot. We deeply regret the mix up in our event promotion video, in which we mixed up the department of our honored guests. I would like to repeat it for our audience while deeply apologizing for the same. We have Dr. Ushri Bannerjee, Assistant Professor in the Department of Applied Psychology, and we have Dr. Somdeb Mitra, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology. ALAP is deeply honored by the esteemed presence of its guests of honor. Now, I would like to hand over to Devdatta.
First of all, as the convener of the event, on behalf of the entire team of ALAP, I would warmly welcome our guests of honor and also apologize on behalf of it for the miscommunication and the mistype that has happened from our side. We deeply apologize for it and shall be uploading the corrected video shortly.
Now we would like to open up this platform for Dr. Ushri Bannerjee and like to listen to what she has to say. Uh, Dr. Ushri Banerjee has left for some technical difficulties, so I would like to introduce Dr. Somdeb Mitra and hand over the session to him. Sir, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, so I'm supposed to say something about students' mental health today, um, but I would first like to know what are your concerns? What are the primary concerns of my dear students? If I could know that, then it would be a bit more relevant for me to, address those concerns. So, any concerns, any questions from you, I would like to welcome that.
Anyone wants to ask questions?
There's one question I have. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of us, from us, I mean students, feel a lot of things, and many a times we are not aware of what we are feeling because we are already distracted. We are always distracted with either studying or every another thing. So how we make ourselves aware of what we are feeling and how it is affecting our lifestyle, our decision making, and everything else.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Uh, in fact, this is a topic which is very close to my heart, and I was talking to Ushridi, I mean, the other faculty who will be talking today. That is about feelings. See, basically, I would like to introduce the concept of feelings to you in a mostly simplified manner. Basically, we have four basic emotions or four basic kind of feelings. One of them is joy, that is also, I mean, it's called satisfaction, pleasure, and other things. One is joy. The second emotion is sadness. The third one is fear. And the final one is anger. So, whenever but generally, we do not have very pure feelings. Okay. Any event can create a lot of feelings in us. For example, in today's pandemic situation, maybe one person is not wearing the mask properly, right? So you can see that person, and then you can have three different feelings from that. Or rather, your feeling could be a complex one, which is mixed with three aspects. A, a fear that what if this person is actually spreading the virus? B, anger. That why is this person not that much careful? And C, maybe a sadness that I can do very little about it. So, in our scenario, mostly the feelings are entangled with each other. whenever you are feeling any kind of difficulty, see, whenever we are happy, it's not necessary to introspect into that, right? Because we can just enjoy our happiness. If you want to introspect that, that's okay, that's fine. But whenever you're feeling distressed, then you can you just have to take a short pause, okay, and maybe just try and think exactly what am I feeling. Maybe initially, in the initial part, you'd be finding difficulty in understanding and labeling your feelings. But later on, so what you can do over there is you can keep a journal. You can just write something on your diary about your whatever is going through your mind. That would be kept with you. That would be private. Just write it down. Just pen it down. Once you've done it, then leave that thing over there. And maybe half an hour later, 1 hour later, you come back and you just look at it. Then, while you're reflecting on it again, then you will be able to understand what exactly your feelings are. I think I don't need to elaborate on what exactly happiness is, what exactly sadness is, or fear is, or anger is. But then, if you are able to understand that what is your predominant emotion or what is your predominant feeling, then that would give you a clarity about which feeling to deal with. So, just take some time off and, if possible, write it down. And if you're writing it down, then there would be a proper integration between your thoughts and feelings, and the chances of your feelings creating distraction would be minimized to a large extent. Does that answer your query?
Yes, thank you.
I have one question too. We talked about fear and happiness, and what if sometime like, there are scenarios when sometimes your fear is stopping you from being happy. So, is it necessary to always be happy? Um, I personally think happiness is overrated. I don't. That is just a personal opinion.
I
But
agree with you.
we always see people pushing towards, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to be happy. But then there are also so many other things that come entangled with it. There's sometimes guilt involved. There's sometimes like there's so many other things involved. How do you expect one feeling to not cloud your judgment to be happy?
Mm, can you give me elaborate on this a bit, please? Because I think this is a very important issue, specifically in the context of people of your age. So, if you could just elaborate on this.
Okay. um, Suppose something happened in the past few months and that hurt me greatly, and I do not want it to happen in the future again. But that involved me and another person, right? So to maintain this particular relationship, I have to be not scared of what happened in the past. Uh, but I am just so fearful about it that it affects my dealing with the other person very greatly, and that ends up spoiling basic what do you call it? Basic peace between two people. So and like you do know that the other person is very important for you to leave. So and sometimes it's not even an option to leave. Sometimes it's family. So how do you get on with that? How do you get over your fear, your inhibitions, your insecurities to maintain basic peace?
Okay. So, first, I would agree with you completely that happiness is overrated because I think happiness is misunderstood. I would like to uh, differentiate between three aspects. One is pleasure, second is satisfaction, third is happiness. Now, what is pleasure? Maybe you have your favorite food and you think, oh, I feel so good. Now, that is pleasure. We say, I'm so happy I had a sumptuous meal today. That's pleasure. Okay. We can use the term happiness because we use a lot of names for the similar things. But then actually, this is pleasure. Second thing is satisfaction. Satisfaction comes when we create something or get something out of a lot of effort. Maybe you put in a lot of effort to organize this program today, and you're able to arrange the things properly from your side. That can lead to a satisfaction. Okay. So one is absolutely, your sense organ oriented pleasure. The second is satisfaction. And the third level is happiness. Happiness comes with a lot of acceptance, and it is not very common. Happiness has a spiritual tinge to it. When we are able to understand and accept that life and world will not uh, continue to function in the terms we want, but yet we have some power and we are willing to try and do something with that power and that capacities, whichever we have. And when we see that in certain areas we are getting successful, that could be a path to happiness. So the first point is happiness is to a large extent misunderstood. And this pleasure is often called for as happiness. Now, every time a person cannot be in a pleasant state, in the four basic emotions, only one is pleasure oriented, the joy thing. Otherwise, the other three things are dissatisfaction oriented, be it fear, be it anger, be it sadness. So, any demand on you to be happy all the time is an unrealistic demand. Please don't give in to that. Now, coming to the other aspect of your question, if the person is very much important for you. Yes, what happens? We often uh, project our own expectations. We have our own demands. That so this person is close to me. I want this. So this person should be doing this. Now, the shoulds and musts and these kind of demands actually just seep in without our own consciousness. And it is our own demands which get frustrated and then we feel the pain. Again, that is normal. I would suggest experience the pain. Look for the people who can support you, or at least you be supportive to yourself that it's okay. I can feel I can feel sad for a period of time. You can maintain a journal, as I mentioned earlier, and please do not pressurize yourself to feel happy all the time. Then, actually, a lot of acceptance of the situation would gradually emerge, and when that acceptance emerges, then true happiness would emerge. Then you would be able to let go of a lot of things which earlier you were not really able to because you were probably stuck in the shoulds and wants. So, if you are aware of these few facts, I think the handling of situation can be a bit more, smooth.
Okay, I understand a little bit of it. Mm. So there's still a lot of confusion, but I do not know how to put it in words. So I'm going to rest my case for the time being. Thank you so much.
Sir,
Hmm?
assuming that we have a lot of engineers here, the first
Mhm.
problem might be that a lot of the first years are studying engineering, which they don't wish to study. That's a very common problem. Like they have been forced to take up engineering or any technical field. So not all of us have the means to convert our streams after we complete our graduation. That's one point. And the second one being, so there are a lot of third and fourth years here who expect something during our placement time, but that does not happen. So all these things basically drive people to overlook personal commitments and fulfill only materialistic or career commitments, something they can put on their CV. This basically leads to a distance between different people, and people are slowly becoming more far. People are now more apart than ever, connected on several levels, but people are now far apart than other. So how to tackle these things from the point of view of a student or an Indian guy or girl who's 21 or 22 needs to work pretty soon and stuff.
Okay. So first, I would say that it's really unfortunate that many parents are not willing to understand that just pushing a person into engineering is not a very good solution, or any stream which the person does not prefer. Having said that, parents also have their own concerns that what would happen if my child, my ward, does not get established. So we often, ourselves, we confuse our uh, worlds or our lives. We only think that this work life is life, but work life is a part of our lives. Here, what I would suggest is for each of us, it is essential to break each day into three parts. One part should be given for rest. Another part should be dedicated for work. And the third part should be dedicated for leisure. Now, rest means sleeping. So you need approximately 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Then maybe another 8 hours of sincere work is sufficient most of the time. Okay. It has to be sincere, right? It's not just I'm just sitting with a book or things like that, but serious concentrated work for 8 hours, or let's stretch that up to 9 or 10 hours. That is that should be sufficient most of the times in your lives. So every day you are approximately losing, you're spending almost 16 hours through your work or your rest or sleep. Then you at least have 6 to 8 hours which is still left. And in that period, we should be actively working towards our leisure. That leisure can be for someone just reading a book, writing something, for some others to just connect with people and other things. So, see, the main thing in life is balance. We have to keep ourselves balanced. The day when a child starts walking on 2 feet, it's about balance, right? You have to maintain balance. That becomes almost natural to us. But in life, in today's, I mean, I should say, consumer oriented society, we are expected to produce more. That is, we have to earn more, we have to learn more so that we can earn more, we have to earn more so that we can spend more. But then we have to live, we have to live more. So this balance has to be there in your consciousness. And I would also add this point over here that if you are not doing that, if that balance is being disrupted, then it is problematic. You know why? Forget about its taking toll on your mental health. Just remember one thing. If this balance is tilted, you would get fatigued easily. Your concentration levels would go down. Your frustration levels would go up. And how would you even study? So always have this focus in mind. Always try to have this focus in mind that there has to be a balance. Now, again, I'm not saying that this balance has to be a perfect balance. It has to be a range. Maybe some days you would study for 4 hours, 1 or 2 days you're not just studying. Okay, but then you are enjoying those days, and during some other days you're studying, etc. And maybe if you are not just looking into your future, that okay, so I have to achieve this, or you're not just looking back at your past, that okay, I did not get it. If you're just there in the present, you can enjoy your campus life much more. And if you are able to do that, today's world is opening up a lot of possibilities. Maybe you just get a engineering degree, but then after becoming an engineer, maybe after working for a few years as well, you have your options to create a life you choose. I personally know people have done engineering to just satisfy what their parents had to say, but then they are into some other fields and they're following their passion and they're doing pretty well, very well, in fact, 1 or 2 of them. Then there are others who have now accepted that, okay, so this is my work, I will earn through this, but I have my other features. I would do this thing. I know another person personally who has done his engineering, is into IT industry, but he works over there, but then he also follows his passion, which is also giving him some kind of remuneration now. He is in his late 20s and he expects to, if required, to shift from this. So maybe at the age of 18, you had less autonomy. But after you go through this struggle, if you don't give up, you might have scope for more autonomy in the future. But for that, you need to have enjoyment, you need to have that joy, you need to have that mental health properly in mind. Then the creativity will flow, and then you will be able to create, and that would be your creation, and that can bring more satisfaction in your life.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Like, it's a common thing that people means the students or the children of our age groups don't discuss such type of things with our parents. We preferably do this with our friends or someone close to them, but we don't prefer this to disclose in front of our parents or like that. So when we will grow up, someday we will become a parent. So how we should act, how what we will do that the trust of our children that they can discuss with us means what are the things we should be taking care about at that time.
Uh, I would just say that focus on being happy. And here again, I do not mean that you have to be happy all the time. Live your life, accept the life as it is, be more open, which it seems you already are. As you have decided to attend this program and not do something else, not play, say, PUBG or stuff like that for this period. So that means you are oriented, you are open towards life. So if you keep this up, then what will happen? You will have a more open mind and you will be more open to other kind of thoughts and emotions. So when you are taking care of the next generation, you would be much more flexible. It's expected that you'd be much more flexible. And then whenever you feel a strong emotion from anyone else, that could be anger, that could be sadness, that could be fear, please stop there and ask yourself, why am I? So I'm feeling this, but what makes me feel this? What does this say about me? For example, a child breaks something and a parent becomes furious. Why did you break this? Now, why does the parent becomes furious? Was that thing very important? If not, then why? What is the framework of that parent? Right. So whenever you are having a strong emotion, a strong feeling, please try to introspect. As I was mentioning again and again, keep writing journals, keep writing notes to yourself, and keep coming back. Then, you know what will happen? You will be more sensitive to yourself. And if you are more sensitive to your own self, you can be more sensitive to others. You know, we are often very much harsh on others, or we can still manage being harsh, not to be harsh on others, but actually, if we are harsh on others, we are equally, if not more harsh on ourselves. So, having these journals, having things written down would make you come back and re examine the things. And if that increases your acceptance level, then I believe you would become accepting to other people as well. And in that way, you would definitely become more and more open. And that openness will definitely be reflected not only in your parenting, but in every sphere you go, everything you do, because that would be yourself, and your self expression would become more and more beautiful.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, sir.
I think I've already spoken for around half an hour. Uh, Maybe Ushri would take up, but I'll just say two or three things which which I was listening while the previous speaker was saying. Uh, the first point is I would like to give you a very clear idea about what is the role of a psychiatrist, what is the role of a psychologist, who is a psychologist, who is a counselor, who is a clinical psychologist, who is a psychiatrist, all of that. See, uh, psychologist is a person who has done at least masters in psychology. So 3 years of bachelor's in psychology, then 2 years masters in psychology. Then that person is able to deal with a lot of problems in the field of mental health. However, the they are not always really equipped enough to deal with serious mental health issues. So, a psychologist, having done MA, goes on for 2 more years of professional training, which is called MPhil. When this MPhil degree is completed, so total after 7 years of dealing with psychology, the person becomes a clinical psychologist and is expected to be equipped to deal with serious mental health issues. Now, this the clinical psychologist does counseling. Now, what does this counseling actually do? It changes the pattern in which people think. It changes the pattern in which people behave, thinking, feeling, behavior, all of this can be changed. So that is the role of counseling. Now, who is a psychiatrist? A psychiatrist is basically a doctor who has done his MBBS. Then he goes on to do a specialization in psychiatry. So in our country, this person is mostly trained to prescribe medication, because a lot of serious mental health issues can be linked with imbalances in the neurochemistry of the brain. So having these medications actually work in the brain. So the psychiatrist is expected to give you medicines through which your symptoms can go down. And the psychologist or clinical psychologist is expected to go through the process of counseling wherein the person is trying to change patterns in your life. You are actually trying to change the patterns in your life, and this person is the coach. So if we have this idea very clear to us, then I think it would be easier for us to, you know, it would be clear that whom to approach. So please be careful about these things. And I would just say, if you have mental health issues, definitely talk to your peers. Peer support is very important. If it is not manageable over there, then depending on your situation, you can go and meet a clinical psychologist. If you are willing to try it on your own through the coaching and guidance of a person, go to a clinical psychologist or a psychologist. And if you think that, this is becoming too much, I need medication, I need something to be done to me, then maybe go to the psychiatrist. Moreover, if you go to one professional, and then the professional can also decide, depending on your situation, that what would be more suitable for it. But the most important part is, please be open. I really thank ALAP for arranging this kind of a platform on this special day, so that you end the stigma and you start talking, which you people have already done. And just take care of yourself, and then maybe with more mentally healthy students, we can think of having a more mentally healthy society. With that, I'd like to end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Somdeb Mitra, for an incredibly insightful session. Now I would like to hand over to Dr. Ushri Bannerjee. Please, ma'am. I would like you all to be kindly a bit more patient. I think Dr. Ushri Banerjee is facing some technical issues. She will join shortly.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of network issues. I had to log in and log out at least 4 to 5 times. Just give me two minutes, okay? Just give me 2 minutes.
Sure, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Okay. Um, Before I begin to share something with you, I would like to thank you all for organizing this program on World Mental Health Day. It is a pleasure to see that youngsters like you are doing your bit to promote mental health. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Somdeb Mitra, who's my junior colleague at the department at the university. So I would just ask if Dr. Mitro would want to leave because I know he has his assignments post this program. I think he can do it in case you do not have any further questions to put to him. Okay, I wanted to share a few things with you all, but unfortunately, I'm unable to log in from my laptop, and that's the reason I tried logging in and out from the phone to try logging in from my laptop. But there's been some technical issues for quite some time, and today I think it's just not responding. So I would talk to you in general about the issues that I felt is important and can benefit you all. Dr. Mitro has been attending to your queries, which I know are endless. So, in case you also have some queries to me or to Sir, you can keep that in mind. And let me just tell you that as in our role as a faculty, and we are also clinical psychologists, so we have our interest in mental health in clinical cases. So we tend to understand that today's adolescents, today's youth have a lot of mental health issues, a lot of crisis that goes on. And it's not that these issues or this crisis is something that cannot be handled, that cannot be that cannot be treated as a problem with a solution. But the main thing that comes to our mind, and the main issue I think here, is that many, as the first question was put to Dr. Mitro, that many do not even realize that they have a problem, and even if they do realize, they do not seek help. So today, on the occasion of World Mental Health Day, this is a message to all of you that, like your physical health, your mental health is important, and your wellness is not just about your physical health. Your health is not just about your physical health. It's also equally about your mental health. It's also equally about the rest of the aspects of your functioning. So please be alert to your issues. Be alert the way you've become alert when you have a fever or you have a stomach ache and you try to seek some help. Be alert about your ups and downs, your mood swings, your restlessness, your irritation, your low mood, your anxiety, and seek help for the same. There is no stigma and there is no harm in seeking out help, in sharing it with others, and in in having to benefit by seeking social support from your peer group, from other members, from professionals. This becomes even more pertinent as we know that we are going through a pandemic situation, and reports keep coming that the mental health issues are significantly on the rise, especially with adolescents and youth. Because there, on many occasions, the situation is like uncertainties regarding their education, their academics, inaccessibility to a lot of technology and other things, and at the same time the lack of job opportunities or the anxiety regarding how to carry on with higher studies. So we know that the youth today, particularly in the current situation, is going through a lot of crisis. One thing that perhaps can help today's youth, and not just because it's a pandemic situation but always, is that if we can think about resilience. There are a lot of positive psychological factors that can help us in our well-being, and resilience is just one of them. There is hope, there is optimism, there is gratitude, and as and when we have been talking to people trying to help them during this pandemic situation, I think during this pandemic situation, I think the time and again we have been trying to point this out, that you try to build on your positive psychological aspects, you try to become more hopeful, you try to become optimistic, you should express your gratitude towards what you have, what you possess. And in spite of all this crisis going around in the entire world, perhaps many of us are quite privileged in our own respective positions. So these are some of the things that can help us to tide over crisis, not just this pandemic, but the crisis as it comes and goes in our lives. A life without stress, a life without crisis cannot be conceived of. So we need to prepare ourselves. It's like our defense, I'm not talking about defense in a psychoanalytic or Freudian sense, if that makes meaning to you all, but I'm saying that we need to build our own strengths. We need to think about how we should strengthen ourselves so that we can tide over our challenges and crisis in a relatively easy manner. I'm not saying that challenges and crisis will be easy even if you are resilient or you have strength within, but crisis can be handled in a better manner if you are more resilient in nature. So, in very brief, I would try to avoid as much as the technicalities. In very brief, I would want to say, this is actually what I wanted to share, but unfortunately, I'm unable to share this. But still, I'll just give it one go to see whether I'm able to share this with you. But I don't think it's still working. I'll just check once. I'll start off and then I'll just check if it works. So you see, whenever we face a crisis, there are some of us who will handle it better and there are some who cannot handle it. So it's also a matter of how you see the situation. So a lot of issues become important when we try to think about a crisis situation. So I am an individual X, you are an individual Y, the same stress is coming to us. I am coping better, you are not coping in a more positive manner, or maybe I am coping, I am showing withdrawal coping mechanism, not actively coping with the situation, you are doing the same. So there are a lot of factors important to all of us when we are trying to deal with a situation. There are personality issues, there are issues of appraisal of a situation, how you're seeing the situation, how you're thinking you're capable of handling, your coping mechanisms, everything becomes important. But most of us as adults have a repertoire of coping mechanisms. We know what to do in a particular situation, how to use it, most of us. And we more or less adeptly use that too. But at the same time, we need to understand that sometimes, even in crisis situations, even if there's a pandemic situation, the same coping mechanisms are supposed to work. Even in any other challenge, the same coping mechanisms are supposed to work. But sometimes it can also happen that our known coping mechanisms do not work well for us. So what we can do is that if we see that we are unable to handle a particular situation on our own, then we should at least try to seek help as and when it's possible. I'm sorry, I don't think I'll be able to share that, but I'll just share a few important pointers here so that you all understand what exactly I'm trying to hint on when I'm talking that we need to be more resilient in nature. Okay, so by definition, resilience generally refers to a class of phenomena which is characterized by patterns of positive adaptation in the context of significant adversity or risk. So, even in the face of a significant adversity, significant challenge, a risk situation, I am able to find out positive ways to adapt to that situation. So, that is what resilience is all about. So, in putting it in very simplistic terms, whenever there's a challenge, whenever there is a risk, whenever there is an adverse situation, I am ready. The situation is there, will be there. We cannot say there'll be no stress or challenge in our life, no threat in our life. It will always be there throughout our lives in various forms and different developmental stages. Now, when you are students, it's a different set of situations and challenges. As you grow up, as you settle in your life, you have your family life or whatever, later on when you have job, the nature will just change, but the crisis factor will remain. So if we are to handle it in a more positive manner, then the most important thing is to build about a set of positive factors within us that can help us to deal with the crisis in a better manner. So there have been different kinds of criteria to understand resilience. These include positive behavior, such as the presence of social and academic achievements, the presence of other behaviors which are desired by the society for a particular age. So when you are studying, people would expect you to show academic excellence, and that would be a very good indicator for you, for everyone else. But when I speak of academic excellence, I don't mean that that is the only thing that you should aspire for. Academic excellence or academic achievement in a way that can also be handled reasonably well for you, not a goal which becomes unrealistic in nature. So certain issues here are, if I am a person who's got my own sense of social and academic accomplishments, there are certain set of behaviors which are important and desirable at my age, in my realm of social life, in my academics, in my age, developmental maturity, everything. Happiness or life satisfaction, absence of undesirable behavior, including emotional distress, drug abuse, criminal behavior, or risk taking behaviors. So, if I have a set of positive repertoire within me, then there's always a chance that I would be able to deal with it and deal with the crisis in a better manner. Now, in studies of resilient children and youth, see, typically resilient studies have been done with children and youth who are at risk. That means they have a challenge to face every day in their lives. And in spite of that, we see them becoming achievers in one way or the other. It's not just about academic achievement, but achievers in some way or the other. So the question arises that what are those characteristics, what are those qualities which can help a person stay resilient, which can help a person cope better, even in the face of intense crisis. So in studies of resilient children and youth, the typical measures of good outcome as far as resilience are concerned, they assess academic achievement like the grades, staying in school, completion of education, conduct more or less rule-abiding behavior versus display of antisocial behavior, peer acceptance and friendship, more or less maintaining a normative mental health. There can be here and there deviations, but not certainly amounting to significant distress or difficulty, and involvement in age-appropriate activities like sports, community service, other extracurriculars, all of these. So most studies also indicate multiple indicators of good functioning rather than a single domain of functioning. So, even when we look at the studies, we do not find a single basic indicator saying that, okay, fine, if I have this would show that I am a resilient person. So there are multiple indicators which point out to that individuals possession of these kinds of characteristics can make an individual become more resilient and help them to stay well in the face of crisis or challenge. Hello. Okay. Uh, so let's just look into some of the protective factors which can help us stay resilient, which can uh, act as positive indicators for the psychosocial resilience in children and in youth. So, um, possession of good cognitive abilities like ability to solve problems, adaptable personality later in life, positive self perceptions, self efficacy, a sense of meaning in life, a positive outlook on life, good self regulation of emotional arousal and impulses, and possessing qualities which are in general appreciated by the society for a particular developmental age. So these are a few of the protective factors within the person. So the person needs to have certain skills in terms of problem solving, decision making, uh, flexible in terms of handling different situations in life, tends to see oneself in a positive light, tends to feel that I am capable of achieving something, that's self efficacy, thinking life in a way so that they find a meaning in life, and definitely what even Dr. Mitra was discussing, a good regulation of emotions and impulses. This is very, very important. And as was mentioned before, that having certain age appropriate qualities which are generally accepted in the society. Some of these things can be nurtured if there are positive indicators in the family, that is, close relationships with adults. If there is a family environment where there are discord and other issues happening, then finding another suitable one or more support figures, um, thinking of ways by which one can generally improve relationship between parents, between child, and between youth and their parents. And of course, there are certain qualities which can act as protective factors, like the education and socioeconomic advantages. So these can act as protective factors. Before I discuss some more, we need to be careful about this fact that not one particular factor is important. It's actually a conglomeration of different factors, different contexts, different family environment, which helps us to stay resilient. So, not just relationships with family, but close relationships to competent, social, supportive adults. See, we cannot deny the fact that social support and having a congenial, warm attachment with important supportive figures in our lives can actually go a very, very long way in helping us tide over a crisis. See, even in this pandemic situation, we are trying to keep in touch with people over the virtual media. We are trying to stay in touch with people. We're trying to talk to people who might be away from us because of physical distancing, and at the same time we're talking to our friends. Some of you are still together, you can share your things, but for most of the non-residential students of schools and colleges, the interaction which is happening now is just over the virtual medium, and that interaction has become manifold. We are constantly on our phone, on our laptop, and that is how we are trying to keep ourselves well, sharing our worries and anxieties with each other. And this can actually act as a very good source of positive support mechanism. So, uh, relationships not just refer to the immediate family, but to other supportive adults, to peer group, which is very, very important throughout our developmental trajectory. We see that if we have a good peer group, we are accepted in the peer group, then that creates a very positive impact in the development of our personality. If we do not have suitable peer groups or rejected in our peer groups, that creates a lot of impact in our development. Other than that, there can be, you know, different organizations or associations that can also help us to stay connected do certain activities, not just for ourselves, for our friends, for our communities, like you're doing. So many of the committees and clubs have come together today to organize the program. Each of them must be serving some or the other purpose for the institute. So they are important in their own ways. And as a student, I might decide, okay, fine, I'll go for a literary society or I might go for something else. So that would depend on my choice. And that would again help me to exercise my hidden talents, that would help me to contribute better. And at the same time, that would help me to become more mature adults, more contributory adults in the society. So, other than having ties to these kinds of organizations within our schools, colleges, and institutes, we can also have tie ups with the local neighborhood organizations in order to do something for our community, in order to stay connected socially and explore our options to find out in what ways we can be helpful to each other and to the society. These are very, very important avenues which can help us to stay psychologically healthy and well. So, these protective factors actually, as I mentioned, are important and become unique in the context of the person concerned, the family, the social and economic context in which the person is residing. And over the years, studies have tried to talk about two or three important characteristics. Like they've said that the most salient individual characteristics are the cognitive capabilities of the child and personality traits, which suggest effective problem solving and adaptability to stress. So, if I think that I am, you know, I can I try to assess that whether I have the required potentials or qualities to become resilient, or if I'm a resilient person and can handle crisis or stress better. My focus should be in understanding as to how in general I assess situations, how I solve problems, how I take decisions. And of course, my personality will always be a contributory factor there. And if I am capable of problem solving problems, if I am capable of handling situations and crisis, then that also gives me a positive self-perception, also gives me a sense of positive self-efficacy that yes, I can do it, and helps me to adapt to different stress situations. Other than me as a person, because I cannot be just a person per se, other than the context in which I am residing, the context, the socio-economic context and socio-cultural context in which I'm residing. And here, uh, quality of parenting, quality of relationships at different levels in the society, these are important indicators. These can be important factors which can help us to stay resilient. So, building on our networks, building on our relationships, trying to have more fulfilling and positive relationships can actually go a long way in acting as a protective agency by which we can handle stress, by which we can face the challenges in life. Uh, Saying this, I can stop for one or two questions, or I can continue a bit more, say another 10 minutes. It depends on what time we have. And it also depends whether you have certain queries in mind which you want me to address. I don't know if Dr. Mitra is still around. So maybe if he's still around, you can address a few queries to both of us. And then maybe I'll take another 10 more minutes to uh, finish a little bit of what I wanted to say.
Ma'am, as you have practically mentioned that we have become literal slaves to our screen for everything right now, for mental health support or our work or something else we need. So, how do you think we will come out of it? Like when we return back to the world we were used to before. How will this screen addiction affect us then?
Okay. See, screen time is something that is a big menace right now across all ages. No, I see my 8-year-old sitting in front of the laptop in the morning for school. Now the dance class has become online and everything else has become online now. And we as psychologists keep telling the parents that yes, help your child to stay connected with their friends. And maybe 6 months back, we only were telling them that restrict your child's screen timing. So, this has become kind of a paradox. But as I'm addressing to you all who are young adults, I know that screen time or spending time over the different technical stuff, different gadgets have become a part and parcel of your lives. Like there is so many of these platforms like Facebook and Instagram and all this. I'm quite, you know, unaware of what all goes on there. I'm technically quite challenged in that sense. But then I do realize that this is the trend that is there in today's youth. And if I refrain a youth from doing this, from staying socially connected, not just during this crisis, but do not want them to stay connected with the rest of their peer group or other groups through these medium, then that would perhaps be not accepted by the youth, and the youth might feel rejected because the rest of the peer group might point out that you are not in Instagram and you're not in Facebook, you're not in this and that, you're not in Twitter. So WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, this has become so very important in our lives. And it has become much more, as you pointed out, and as I also mentioned, during this pandemic situation, when we are unable to really go out and mix socially or continue our conversations regularly in a face-to-face mode. See, what I have to do throughout the day, I have to do my studies, my chatting with my friends, my sharing videos and audios and other things with my friends, giving my update in Facebook and other things. So the point here is that it's not just about how much time I'm spending on the screen, but it's also about whether I do have other engagements outside the screen. Because one day it can be a possibility, not just a one-day affair. See, after Amphan, many of us had very poor connectivity in our areas. We couldn't take classes for weeks. We couldn't connect to people for weeks because all the poles were down. The overhead poles and the wires were all destroyed by the cyclone. So if it is such a situation that I do not have an alternative when I do not have something on the screen, then that will actually create a detrimental kind of a situation for me. So it's not about how much time you're spending, because all of you as young adults know that spending more time is going to have some effect on your eyes, on your general like shoulders. The pain develops when you sit for long hours in front of your computers. But many of you have been used to as part of your course curriculum even prior to the pandemic. Whether you're used to, whether you are not, the most important thing that I feel right now is that keeping your health issues in mind, if it so happens that you need to restrict your screen timing, please do that. But the most important thing is to finding alternatives to your screen time, so that you do not become a slave to your screens and you do not find yourself to be at a loss when you do not you cannot access your Facebook or your Instagram. You do not know what to do when there's no Wi-Fi around and you do not have your smartphone around. So we need to be vigilant about this. We need to have alternative activities. It can be anything: reading books, painting, it can be gardening, it can be cooking for some, anything that I can think of even when I do not have my gadget in hand. People are at a loss. I talk to people and they're at a loss when their smartphone is not around. They do not know what to do if one day they've left home without their phone. They are absolutely at a loss. But you can keep yourself reminding that there was a time when there was no smartphone, no phone at all. And yet people stayed connected. yet people have their own means of staying well. So sometimes you can have your own. See, for you as an audience, one cannot make anything compulsory because you're mature, young adults going to be adults. So you cannot have anything compulsory. But what you can possibly think on your own is that if I can possibly have some time during the day when I just put away my gadgets, when I just do not, when I'm just not online for a little while, let me see if I can really stay okay during that time. Let me see if I can keep myself engaged during that time. It's very, very important to find such avenues.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Okay.
Should I go on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, being unhinged from physicality for so long can give rise to a lot of insecurities about various things. How do you cope with that? How do you come over your insecurities in general?
I'm sorry, Shivani, I really couldn't get your question. Would you mind repeating that for me?
Yes, ma'am. Bottom line of the question is, how do you get over your insecurities?
How do you get over your insecurities, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tough question to answer, but yes. See, do you think there exists anybody here today in this forum who doesn't have a sense of insecurity, including me as a speaker, supposed to be a professional, supposed to be a faculty, supposed to be an expert in my field? Insecurities are part and parcels of our lives. It can be insecurity regarding a relationship, it can be about finances, it can be about my academic career, it can be about my job, but insecurities are there in our life. The basic thing that one needs to understand if there are issues of insecurity is that we need to understand whether there is a realistic basis for my insecurity or not. If I find there is no realistic basis regarding my insecurity, then I have one way to solve it. But if I find that there is a realistic uh, tone to my insecurity, then there is another way to handle it. By saying this, what I mean is that we need to understand first what are my areas of insecurity and why I feel insecure. There cannot be one generalized answer about what to do with my insecurities. But we need to have more trusting and more secure relationships in our life to have this generalized feeling of security. We need to have and we need to, we need to nurture more trustworthy and more fulfilling relationships so that we feel secure in the other areas of life. And if I do have a particular area of my life where I'm very significantly insecure, I should definitely try to see whether I can work on it. But I should also see to it that that pocket of insecurity should not make me an insecure person in general. So if I have a pocket of insecurity, which many of us must be having in our lives, I need to restrict it to that domain only, not kind of letting it flow over to the other important areas of my life, making me feel that, I am an insecure person and these are my list of worries and concerns. So I might be having a very mistrustful relationship with a friend, with a special friend, and let not that, with a family member, let not that ruin my other relationships in life, where trust can actually be established and can help me to realize that security can be there as an important ingredient in our lives. So if you're feeling insecure about something, you need to reflect upon, need to think upon why, what, how. And you also need to understand that if insecurity is there in a particular context, you shouldn't let that generalize in the other contexts in your lives.
That was very helpful. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, like you mentioned in your previous speech that with all the screen time that we have now, we are more disconnected than ever. So, ma'am, suppose as a result of this disconnection and not being able to live up to the expectations, we all mess up different kinds of relationships, whether it be with our parents, our friends, or with anyone else. And like when we can't find our fault in that, we end up believing that it's our fault, and we end up being guilty, and we think that we are not good enough. And we slowly start becoming worse at what we could do even at one point of time. So, ma'am, how to tackle with this? And in this given context, how much relevant do you think Kurt Cobain was in 2020? Since
couldn't get the latter part of your question, Anurag.
Yes,
Would you
ma'am.
just mind repeating? Yeah.
Yeah, so like when we have messed up a relationship, we might think that it's entirely our fault. And this makes us believe that we are not good enough, or we don't deserve being loved. So we end up being worse at all our strengths. We can't do what we used to do. And since my music has always been an escape for almost everyone here, in this given context, how relevant do you think Kurt Cobain was in 2020 itself?
See, Anurag, and I think this might be an issue with many of you. As you mentioned that because of more screen time, maybe you're messing up with your relationships. When you say screen time is messing up your relationships, that I would mean that...
I did not say that because of more screen time. I said that in spite of having more screen time and methods to connect, people are now messing up relationships more than ever.
Okay. Got it now. Sorry. I perhaps heard it wrong. Okay. See, whether you have a phone constantly or a medium to connect with someone special or with friends continuously, that shouldn't be an indicator as to how you deal with your relationships. As I mentioned, when these kinds of... See, you might think that I am a backdated person. Yes, I am. And I know for you all youngsters, and not just you youngsters, I keep seeing people of my own age group and belonging to different kinds of profession who are into these kinds of platforms, and they enjoy sharing and everything. I wonder, what do I miss out when I'm not in one of those platforms? See, my personal view, I don't think I frankly miss out on anything. What I'm trying to say here, Anurag, is that I think this is a personal choice as to how you want to stay connected. And our phone or our social platforms are just a medium to maintain those relationships. But a medium actually cannot be everything in one's life. So if I'm not on Facebook, I don't get to connect with maybe 1,000 people at one go. But maybe I cherish and nurture 5 relationships in my life. So whether I am having avenues in different ways to stay connected to people or not, the most important thing is what is my motive behind these connectedness. If I want to stay connected, and if I want to build on in a more fulfilling and effective and fruitful relationship, then a simple phone, even not a smartphone, can justify the purpose. So each of us, I think, need to look back, need to reflect and find out what kind of relationships I'm looking for, and whether the relationships that I have in life are capable of fulfilling what I am desirous of. more screen time, more connectedness over screen, less connectedness over screen is not always the only issue here. So I might not have a smartphone, so I'm unable to make a video call. That's okay. An audio call should also serve the purpose. Yes, with this pandemic around, video calls are a lifesaver, definitely. You can see a person, you can talk more emotionally, you can relate to the person, seeing the facial expressions and non-verbal expressions, true. But what is my aim? What is my motive? What is my general aspiration? And what is my expectation from a relationship? These are true, whether I am part of, a number of technological ways to stay connected with a person or not. Yeah, you want to add something? Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. You have very clearly explained that about something about the fear of missing out, which is probably common among everyone of us here. So, ma'am,
Absolutely.
Next thing I wish to ask was, how do we get over the feeling that I am not good enough or I am not unworthy of love? How to get over these feelings and we stop messing our own lives in turn?
You see, Anurag, I understand the concerns you youngsters are having. Let me just tell you something that why should a person, be it me, be it you, be it all the participants here and who are present, who are not present, why should any of us be unworthy of anything? It's not just love. Why should be unworthy of anything? Who decides our worth?
Ma'am, that's the point.
Who tells us? Yeah, please
In
say.
this materialistic world where everything is measured against a standard scale, you're always at every moment shown that this is your exact world in the place. This is your exact worth in the world.
When you are putting across this question, do you particularly mean romantic relationships, Anurag, or you mean relationships in general?
Ma'am, anything, be it with our parents or a friend. Suppose a friend leaves us, giving us no reason whatsoever. Then we are left wondering that what did I do to that guy? That he had to choose someone else. The fear of getting replaced. If that sums it up.
Okay. I come back to my earlier discussion that who decides my worth? See, I need to be aware of the fact at the juncture that you people are as to what are my positive and my negative qualities and what sums up me as a person. I need to be aware of my own capacities, my own abilities, and at the same time, I need to be aware of my weaknesses. Awareness about only the positive aspects or only the negative aspects will not land us anywhere. If I need to have a positive self-concept, a positive sense of self-efficacy, confidence in myself, then I need to understand that whether I am a worthy person or I am unworthy person cannot be decided by a single parameter. See, one day I walk into my college and I manage to wear a very old, worn out dress of mine. College means I'm not talking about my present occupation. I'm saying maybe my college days or your college days. So when you walk into your college and you are not as prim and proper and stylishly dressed as the rest of the crowd, you are definitely looked at with a very negative kind of a look. The point here is that whether you would consider your physical appearance to be the most important indicator in judging yourself by yourself and by the others, or there are other qualities and talents within you which can help you stay more positive about yourself and also help others have a positive view about you. Who decides that you are unworthy? And whether that balance in which you are weighed upon, whether that gives a rightful measure or not. If you reflect and introspect and you try to understand yourself, then you should be in a position to understand what are your positive strengths, where lies your strengths, and where lies your weaknesses. We need to be aware of both our strengths and weaknesses, not just our strengths, not just our weaknesses. And if I can have a fair enough idea about my strengths and my weaknesses, then I am a better judge of myself than anyone in the rest of the world. If there is a constant source which tries to demean me, which tries to make me feel I am unworthy, whether of love, of respect, of friendship, of anything else, I need to find out avenues to detach myself from such kind of relationships which keep myself and my self-worth at such a low degree. If it's a relationship I cannot detach myself from, then I need to sit and talk and I need to work out and find out from those people as to what makes them feel I'm unworthy of everything. In what they're trying to tell you, then I should realize and accept my weakness and try to work upon that. See, I tell you that, Anurag, you are wearing an excellent. Your shirt is wonderful. Like it's such a nice color. I'm complimenting you. You feel good about that. The next day I tell you, oh, Anurag, you look so shabby. What's wrong with you? You feel bad about it. The third day I tell you that, you see, Anurag, I would want someone like you to be part of this debate that I'm organizing. You feel happy. And the next day I pose another negative comment towards you and you start feeling unhappy. It's not just me. It can be X, it can be Y, it can be Z. Different people at different points of your life would pose positive and negative comments about yourself. I need to find out whether there is some value in their comments, be it positive, be it negative. I shouldn't just feel swayed away if that's a positive comment. And I shouldn't feel that I should, just die out of shame if that's a negative comment. I'm an adult individual. I should and I must weigh each comment as it come to me. I have the right to pay attention to the ones which I feel are important to be attended to. Not everything that comes on my way should be able to crush me down as and when he or she pleases to. So you need to, all of you, whoever having these queries, need to build up on your inner strengths, need to think about your positive strengths, need to think about your talents, need to have a more positive self-concept about yourself. Only then you will be in a position to understand where you are contextually in others' lives. Until unless you have a self-worth, you will keep accepting what others keep telling you. Self-worth is very, very important. Self-love, self-worth, self-efficacy, this self-related words, they might sound narcissistic. But yes, I need to be narcissistic to a certain extent. I need not be so narcissistic to disregard everyone in my life, but I need to be narcissistic to stay well and stay positive. That is important. So you nurture yourself. You think about yourself. Think about your own strengths, and then only you'll be in a position to find out whether you are worthy of something or you're unworthy of something. Then, as I mentioned, there might be some truth, some value when your parents tell you about some behavior of yours, when your friend or your special friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever comes and tells you about something. You need to make it out whether there is some amount of truth in it. If there is, you need to work on that. We need to take things not just in an emotional platform. We need to have a good blend of intellectual understanding and emotional understanding. You should use your cognitive capacities as well as your emotional strengths to judge a situation. Not just take it emotionally or not just take it rationally. It has to be both. Only when you are using your cognitive skills, judging a situation, analyzing it, and at the same time, not disregarding the emotions associated with it, you can do justice in understanding yourself and understanding others' context in your life.
Thank you, ma'am. That actually explains a lot. And that does give us something to
Might
work
be,
on.
I know, Anurag, might sound a little heavy because uh, I said a lot of things in one go. But then, you can just think about it that, how you can stay well. If you can sort it out and see how you can stay well, you will find that what all I have said is actually part and parcel of that staying well. Is there anything else that you would want to ask me?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Oh, um, I had one doubt. Um, you know, people of our age are usually, this is very common in people of our age, that they are confused and they have frequent mood swings and all, and they think they are not capable of doing something, or they are not worthy. People of my age have various kinds of problems going on in their minds. So, and we very frequently come across some statements or stereotypes, rather, by elder people or some other people, that in Bengali they say hoy hoy boy said to hoy. You must know that. And so, but and then they don't take the problems seriously. And after that, when we need to actually speak to someone about our problems and our concerns, we don't find someone. And we start feeling like, if I start feeling that if I speak about my problems to someone, he or she might think uh, I think that I am putting a burden on him or her. Like, this is a very big problem that I personally face, and I just want to ask that uh, 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 how do I choose? How do I know that this person is ready, or this person is is actually willing to help me? You know, how do I do that?
Hmm.
And the main problem they do is actually they generalize, that yes, I have come across this, I have seen this type of problem in some other person, and this is similar, but actually I don't think problems are similar. Each one of us is different, right? So how do I know what to do?
See, if you are having a problem of any sort, okay, then you are the best judge to decide whether this is creating distress and disrupting your daily life. As I keep saying, and I have mentioned this also in the session from the beginning, that stress is there in our lives. It's going to stay throughout our lives. The nature of the stress changes according to the developmental age, but stress is going to be there as part and parcel of our lives. Challenges, threats, they will be there. They're here to stay. And if I have to deal with them, then I have over time my own mechanisms to deal with them. And if I find they're not working, they are making me distressed, the issues actually, or I am incapable of handling situations and stress and problems in my life, I should start seeking help. If you think that there is no one in your family or your friend circle who's ready to lend some helpful and kind ears to your problems, you can always seek professional help. That's the first thing I would want to say to all of you. And by saying professional help, I just don't mean that you have to immediately go and visit a person and talk to a psychiatrist, start taking medicines. Many problems can be handled over a phone call also. Now in this, at least in this situation, telecounseling has become a very important stay in our lives. Here, on many occasions, we find that if I have a good friend to whom I can confide, or a family member with whom I can share, I can talk to, many of the times it solves our problems. But as you mentioned, that it's a very common kind of a saying that, oh, this is nothing, or erkum hoy, or maybe this is nothing, you shouldn't pay much heed to it. Or maybe, that person is feigning, oh, ওরকম করছে, এরকম কিছু হওয়ার নেই. I shouldn't feel discouraged by these kinds of comments because I am the one who's feeling distressed. If you want to feel that you have a choice. On the one hand, whether you want to make yourself more unhappy, more sad. And on the other hand is the question whether by conveying it to your support system, your parents, whether you are becoming a burden to them. You have got a choice to make. If you feel by saying this, I'll become a burden, then you just have to endure your share of sadness, sorrow, and distress. But if you decide that I need to put an end to my distress, then you no longer need to think that you will be burden on anyone for that matter. If you have a trustworthy relationship, be it a friend, be it a family, be it a sibling, share and find out whether actually their responses make you feel you are a burden or not. Sometimes we have preconceived notions about different things. ওকে বললে ও এটা ভাববে, তাকে বললে সে এইভাবে কমেন্ট করবে, আমার সম্বন্ধে খারাপ ভাববে। আমি খারাপ আছি, I am not well is the most important indicator here. Not কে আমায় খারাপ ভাবছে আর কে আমায় ভাববে যে it's just making this up or it's turning a very normal thing into an abnormal stance. So you need to weigh whether you want to stay this sad and unhappy and distressed, become continuously distressed about different situations, or you become a burden to others. But that helps to reduce your fears, your weaknesses, your sadness, your sense of unhappiness. You have to keep weighing these different contexts in our lives at each and every moment. And finding out what is your priority is equally important. If you brush aside your feelings, brush aside your distress because of the comments that you're receiving, then you will be distressed. You are the one who's going to suffer and no one else. So why can't I take a decision to end my suffering? As I said in the beginning, that if I have a stomach upset for 5 days, do I stay at home and just, bear that pain? Or I consult a doctor, start taking medicines, get some tests done? Why can't I do that when I have certain issues which are related to my mind? Why can't I talk to someone? Why can't I seek help? Many of the times you will say, or I know that you will say that there is taboo, there is social stigma. Then what is education and a position in your society helping you to do with things? If you cannot end the taboo, if you cannot end the stigma, then what is your education of use? if I am educated enough to understand that I have a problem and there are people to help me out, and this is not just paglami or I am not a pagol as it's conventionally said, then I should take the first step to go to a person concerned, a professional concerned, and seek help. Now, I can be a what to say, a model for many who are still scared to go to a professional to seek help or even share with anyone that they are not well today. Why should I give my mental health less importance? Why can't I give equal importance to my mental health the way I give my physical health? Why should I think that if I talk to a friend about me not feeling well or having low mood, they'll think I'm a burden? Why should I think that my parents would think that, taking them to a psychiatrist or a psychologist is so burdensome? As young members of the society, educated members of the society, you need to end this stigma. You need to end this taboo. You need to start thinking that this is equally my right. I have the right to seek both help from both physical doctors who are treating my physical ailments as well as doctors who are treating my ailments related to my psyche or to my mind. So think about it. What do you want to? Do you want to keep suffering, feel sad and unhappy, or you want to put an end to it with some help and stay well? Yes, please go ahead.
Sure, ma'am. That is actually helpful. Thanks. Okay.
Does anyone else have any queries? Okay, if not, ma'am, I'll ask you to conclude this session.
Okay, I'll just take maybe 5 or 7 minutes more to just highlight a few points which is related to basically what I was talking about in the beginning. As I was saying that, resilience is something that we need to nurture. And that is not just an individual aspect, but also needs equal contribution from the family, from the society, from the community. So I was talking about cognitive capacities or abilities like problem solving, decision making, the personality aspects, and also the presence of warm attachments with parents or significant other figures in our lives, peer groups, etc. This can actually foster resilience in a person. So some of the more focused techniques that we can think of to some strategies that can help us to build resilience. So I'll just read a few lines from the page that is there in front of me. So building resilience, the ability to adapt well to adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or even significant sources of stress, can help people to manage stress and feelings of anxiety and uncertainty. However, being resilient does not mean that one won't experience difficulty or distress. Emotional pain and sadness are common when we have suffered some tragedy, trauma, we're going through a stressful situation, or even when we are hearing about someone else's trauma or tragedy. So, some ways by which, in general, one can think about making oneself more resilient, more capable of coping is the first point is to make effective connections. By connections means helping individuals to make to feel socially connected, to stay socially connected, not just with friends, but other members of the society, with extended family members. And one should also try to think about whenever there is a social relationship involved, whenever there is emotions involved in a relationship, one must also understand that I need to be empathic in that relationship too. By empathy means understanding the other's emotions the way they are experiencing it. In very simple words, it's putting oneself in the other person's shoes. So I need to be empathic in my relationships. That will help me to foster and take relationships at a deeper level. If I can be, if I can, uh, I seek social support, fine, but let me also become a support figure for other people too. So if I can be empathic towards other people's pain, distress, then I know that they'll also be, they'll also extend their support when I am distressed. Maybe one will be a better one might have better skills at empathy than the other. That's okay. But at least my attempts to empathize with a person will help to foster more meaningful relationships. At the same time, one needs to foster the family network too, like working out on differences. You know, during this pandemic, we have been receiving calls from students mostly because we were having this helpline number in our university website for university students, and many of them kept saying that staying for so long hours, such long stretch with parents, it's becoming unbearable. So maybe this is a good time to work out on your differences. Maybe this is a good time to find out how you can stay under the same roof and yet work out your own differences. Differences will be there between friends, between family, between supervisors, bosses. Always there will be arguments and disagreements. But there'll also be ways to work those out. We need to always feel that unresolved issues have to be given some end, some shape. We need to resolve our issues rather than running away from it. So, connecting with people provides social support and strengthens resilience. So, as I was saying, that many of us who are active in the social networks, particularly you youngsters, you feel that there is a sense of social connectedness when you are in your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, people reading your posts, maybe seeing your photos or pictures or whatever, your comments. It's one way of fostering relationships, gaining pleasure and acclaim. It's okay. It's absolutely okay as long as you also have meaningful relationships to fall back upon. So, connectedness is important for all of us. All of us. And nothing can undermine the importance of social support in any ways which can help us to stay well. As I mentioned that, you can think about age appropriate work or services by helping other people. Pro-social behavior also has immense positive impact in a person's life. Help your friends, start by that. Be with them, be a support figure for them, as many of you are trying to do through your own networks. Extend that help to other people who might be of need, who might shy away from getting your assistance, but you know that they know you need them. So there are different ways by which one can extend help and become support figures for other people. Particularly in this pandemic area, where there is a sense of uncontrollability and a sense of uncertainty, if we can have a regular routine of our own, it's going to be of much help. That gives us a sense of certainty, gives us some discipline and regulation in my daily life. So when you are thinking that things are just going haywire, you're unable to manage things, Find out whether you can have a daily schedule, a schedule where you have everything incorporated, including your studies, including your socialization, your hobbies, everything. But at least you stick to a certain regimen every day. Again, while it is very important to stick to routines and assignments and deadlines, it's also important to take a break sometimes, away from everything. A quiet, a quiet day, a quiet hour away from everything, just on your own, reading, watching, eating, whatever, but away from the restrictions that you've imposed on yourself. Many of us become very restrictive and very watchful on ourselves. We can actually help ourselves out by sometimes taking a break from this watchfulness. Another very important thing is goal setting. See, many of us set goals in our lives. I'm not just talking about academics. Goals can be set in all realms of life. But let the goals be realistic, achievable. It's very important. If I set a goal which is unrealistic and unachievable, then that would induce a lot of frustration within me. So let's all decide on goals which are realistic and achievable. Make the gap between your decrease the gap between what your ideal situation would be and what the real situation is. The bigger is the gap, the more you perhaps suffer and more frustrated you feel. So set goals, which is very, very important. Goals regarding what I have to do, goals regarding how I go about and reach a particular thing, academics, relationships, hobbies, whatever, college life, everything. But I need to set realistic goals for myself. Goals which are unrealistic will only lead to a lot of frustration within a person. Another thing with which I will end is something that I cannot, stress more is always have a positive view of the self. It's very, very important from all aspects to think yourself in a positive light. You need to think yourself in a very, very positive light, from a positive angle. Appreciate the positive that you have within yourself. You see, when parents come with children, particularly, I'm not talking about young adults, I'm talking about children, adolescents, and you ask the parent, like, okay, tell me something about your child, tell me something about your adolescent boy or girl. And they keep talking about whatever negative the child possesses, doesn't listen to me, doesn't study, doesn't eat, doesn't obey. You stop that person. Oh, stop, 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 stop. Is there something positive in your child? Okay, yeah. Okay, the child writes well, the child can sing, and things like that. So, we have a general tendency to overgeneralize faults of other people. And sometimes we do that to ourselves too. Someone was talking about guilt. If I think that I'm responsible for too many things in my life, then I would be guilt-ridden. What am I? Am I omnipresent and omnipotent that I would be responsible for everything in my life? It's not possible. So let's have a balanced, objective, and yet positive view about ourselves. When I say balanced and objective, I mean to say, look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses too. And you will yourself be in a position to find out what is your worth. So, trustworthy relationships here are important. You need to trust yourself, you need to trust the person. Trust the relationships in your life. Trust goes a long way in fostering meaningful relationships. Trust is something that is very, very important in having, uh, positive and long-term relationships. And in continuation, being hopeful, as I mentioned, hope, optimism, these are very important, very, very important. You need to think that something positive will turn up. whatever is going wrong, I know it's wrong. It's too wrong to happen to me. But yes, this too shall pass. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. We'll be able to see light. There will be something positive that will turn things around. Even amidst the pandemic, there is nothing much we can do but keep hoping that this will end. And there'll be something positive that will happen. There'll something which will take a different turn altogether. And at the same time, as I mentioned, optimistic, looking at the positive aspects of things, thinking that yes, there is something there which can be looked upon as a positive, uh, positive aspect to any kind of a situation. So keep things in perspective and maintain a hopeful outlook. So even if there is a lot of painful events happening, a lot of distress going on, that has to be looked upon in a broader context, broader perspective, and from a long-term perspective. So an optimistic and positive outlook enables one to see the good things in life and keep going even in the hardest times. So, we can keep telling ourselves that things pass, things move on. Nothing is stagnant. Nothing stays forever. No negative experience or distress will stop and just remain there. Each of us can actually do something to turn it into something more positive. And one thing more, absolutely last thing, is that self-discovery, which I've been saying in different words from the beginning only. Understanding yourself, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, thinking about your actions, thinking about your emotions, trying to find out where there was a mistake one day when you had a very bad disagreement with a close friend of yours. Trying to find out. It's not about thinking who's at fault, but it's trying to solve the situation. Trying to find out what actions of mine could have prevented this occurrence. What actions of mine now can actually help me to reverse the situation. Pointing fingers, blaming others cannot land us anywhere in solving our crisis or our issues. So we need to look for opportunities for self-discovery, and we need to also accept that fact that change is a part of our living. Things change. Nothing will remain the same for all. Even positive. Both positive and negative will change. It keeps changing. As they say, change is the only permanent thing in our lives. So I need to go along with a positive outlook, a positive self-perception, self-view, a hopeful attitude, some time for self-discovery, and accepting change as and when they come. Yeah, that's it. I don't think I have anything more to add.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session. And in addition to this, I would like to say that to everybody, ALAP is there for you. ALAP is there to listen, and you can approach us anytime, anywhere. You just have to drop an email to our email ID alap.2k20@gmail.com, and we will get back to you. You can trust us, and you you just don't forget to have one listener at least. Thank you.
On behalf of Team ALAP, and I'm sure all of us are attending this session, I would like to convey my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Ushri Bannerjee and Dr. Somdeb Mitra for this extremely insightful session. Thank you for taking out time from your very busy schedules to support our endeavors. Your wisdom you shared with us means so much to us. Thank you for answering all our queries so patiently and making us so much more aware. Your contribution has been deeply appreciated and incredibly enlightening. Thank you, Ram.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming together for a very, very important cause. And I congratulate the members of ALAP for thinking that this is really something which needs discussion and some attention. And all of you who are here today, please feel free to contact them. Feel free to talk to people, build your social support, extend your social support system. There is nothing wrong in seeking help, and there is nothing wrong to feel that I am not well today. So please uh, pay attention to your mental health issues, stay well, and we can keep meeting and discuss about your, you know, discuss about the issues that keep bothering you. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you. Okay, now the team ALAP has prepared something small presentation and some descriptive things that are motto or about us, what we are for, what we stand for, and we'd like to share it with you.
Hello, greetings. We are members of ALAP and we are here to share some facts with you about the World Mental Health Day.
World Mental Health Day is observed on 10th October every year with the overall objective of raising awareness of mental health issues around the world and mobilizing efforts in support of mental health.
Day provides an opportunity for all stakeholders working on the health issues to talk about their work.
And what more needs to be done to make mental health care a reality for people worldwide?
This year's theme set by World Federation for Mental Health (WFMH) is Mental Health for All. World Mental Health Day was celebrated for the first time on October 10, 1992 at the initiative of Deputy Secretary General Richard Hunter.
Up until 1994, the day had no specific theme other than promoting general mental health advocacy and educating the public.
In 1994, World Mental Health Day was celebrated for the first time with us. This was done at the suggestion of the then Secretary General, Shibpur. He was
the quality of mental health services throughout the world.
Mental health problems can affect anyone, any day in the year. But
October is a great day to show your support for better mental health and start looking after your own well-being.
The World Mental Health Day 2020 is the most important one as of yet. The months of lockdown and loss have had a huge impact on all of us.
Prioritizing mental health never been this important as it is now.
Take care of your mental health. You are not alone.
From Team ALAP, we always advocate that you are not alone. We are here to help you always, and we were here to help you when you need a listening ear or a helping hand. Just feel free to contact us if you need any help. So now I would like to thank all the clubs that has been collaborating with us to make this endeavor a success. Uh, QuizManiac BEings, Reflexobeta, Euphony, SCAGE. I extend my warm thanks and heartfelt greetings to you because without your help and support, we might not have like help arrange this endeavor to this extent. Thank you for supporting us. And now I would like to ask Jagriti mm, from QuizManiac Beings to declare the results of their mental health quiz that they held today.
Okay, by the time QuizMania Beings resumes with its discussion session, I would like to present to you all a video message that has been sent to us by Chandranil Bhattacharya sir. Sir is a member of Chandrabindu Society, and we would like to share with you all a message that he has sent to us.
মানসিক স্বাস্থ্য বলে একটা কথা আছে, আমরা জানি কিন্তু আসলে মানি না। আমরা যখন স্বাস্থ্য কথাটা উচ্চারণ করি আমরা শরীরের কথাটাই বুঝি। আমার হাতে একটা ব্যথা হলো, আমি কি করবো? ডাক্তারের কাছে যাব, এর মধ্যে কোথাও কোনো অগৌরব নেই। কিন্তু আমার মনে যদি ব্যথা হয়, আমার মন যদি খুব বিষণ্ণ, খুব ক্লান্ত, খুব খিচিমিচি মতো হয়ে থাকে, আমি ডাক্তারের কাছে যাব না। কারণ আমি কি পাগল হয়ে গেছি নাকি যে মনের ডাক্তার দেখাবো? সেটা খুব খারাপ একটা জিনিস। আমার যদি প্রেশার হয়, সুগার হয়, যে কোনো অসুখ হয়, কি করবো? ওষুধ খাবো। আমি কখনো ভাববো না যে আমার শরীরের কর্তব্য হলো নিজেই নিজেকে সারিয়ে তোলা। এরকম ভাবলে পরে লোকে বলবে বোকা। কিন্তু আমার যদি মনটা খুব খারাপ হয়, তখন আমি ভাববো যে অন্যের সাহায্য নেওয়ার মধ্যে একটা অগৌরব আছে। আমার মনের জোর এতটাই থাকা উচিত যে আমি নিজেই নিজের মনটাকে ভালো করে নিতে পারবো। এইরকম অসংখ্য ভুল ধারণা, ট্যাবু আমাদের মানসিক স্বাস্থ্যকে ঘিরে আছে। এগুলোকে দূর করার জন্য কি দরকার? কতগুলো কাজ করা দরকার, যাতে আমরা যাকে সচেতনতা বলি তা আস্তে আস্তে বাড়তে থাকে। এই 10 অক্টোবর বিশ্ব মানসিক স্বাস্থ্য দিবস। সেই উপলক্ষে কলেজের ছাত্রছাত্রীদের মানসিক স্বাস্থ্য নিয়ে সচেতন করার জন্য আলাপ দল কিছু কাজ করতে চলেছে। অভিনন্দন জানাই এবং আলাপ দলের প্রতি, এই ধরনের কাজের প্রতি আমার শুভকামনা রইল।
We thank Chandril Bhattacharya sir, for his insightful message and his support to us. We thank him from the deepest of hearts. Now I would like to welcome the representatives of QMB to declare and discuss the results of the quiz that they had held in association with ALAP. QMB is preparing for the results. We shall be waiting for QMB. They will be here within a few seconds. I ask QMB GS to come up live on camera and discuss and declare the results.
If you can just stop presenting. Yeah, cool. So with 35 teams, 35 people registering for the quiz, it was overwhelming. And thank you for taking part in the quiz. I guess you could learn something from the quiz. We had great time making the questions. Huge shout out to all the members from QMB, the second year especially, for making the questions, especially Jagriti and Shautik for conducting the quiz, and to Shaptoshi for making the poster, which you all have seen. So we had a hard time picking out the winner. So coming third is Prerna Das with 14.33. Coming second is Trishampati Ghosh. And coming first is Aman Kumar Singh. So congratulations to all of you. And we hope to organize for such events in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag Bhaiya. I highly appreciate the GS of QMB for declaring the results. Now I would like to give the floor to Nishita. Nishita, please continue with the conduction.
Yes, congratulations to all the winners. And now I would like to ask the representative of the Thespians, Amrit, to come and host his discussion session, which he has planned for all of us.
Hello.
Hi, Amrit. You are audible.
Yes, Nishita.
Are you facing any technical difficulties?
I'm trying.
Nishita, while Amrit joins us again, I would like you to continue with one of the contributions that we have received from one of the free participants, free spirit participant, that is Risha Devi. She is from IIEST Shibpur Mechanical Engineering Department of Mechanical Engineering, third semester. She has written a piece on ALAP, and I would like Nishita to read it aloud for the attendees here. Meanwhile, I would request Amrit to fix the connection issues.
Okay. As Resha writes, importance of good mental health. What is good mental health? In simple terms, it means to have the right balance of emotional expression and rational behavior. Maintaining good mental health has always been a serious issue in the modern and materialistic world. It has taken huge significance during the lockdown due to COVID 19, when all the people were forced to remain confined in their houses for months. The cases of mental health issues increased significantly. Mental health condition is not visible superficially, and therefore maintaining a good mental health is a matter of great concern for everyone. Mental health issue is a modern malady. We never know what the people around us are going through. When we meet someone, we ask, "How are you?" And quite naturally, everyone says, I'm fine. But are they really? Those people who accept that they are depressed are not the problem, but there are a lot of people who hide it by pretending to be happy or by making others happy so that no one can understand that deep inside they are battling with themselves. Such situations may lead to a lot of ill fated cases. Always consult someone close to you who understands you and makes you feel better in times of need, helps you make wise and uninfluenced decisions regarding critical matters. We will always find someone in our daily life who appears when we are in our worst time, when every path seems to have closed. These people give us some good advice from their own experience and wisdom, which makes the entire situation a little less difficult. At these times, such kind of positive energy is very important. They motivate us to do better. They bring optimism in life. Negative energies shouldn't influence us to take a wrong step because that one wrong step can be your last step. Also, it's important that once you have coped up with it, your experience and wisdom should be able to alleviate someone else's problem in life. It's only through support and understanding that we can help everyone overcome this phase. Just like mental health, even physical health is also very important as these two complement each other. One mantra to a healthy physical and mental health is to be disciplined in life. For a few days, the indisciplined lifestyle might look good and adventurous, but in the long run, it has a lot of negative impact. Introspection once in a while also plays a very important role in finding root cause of many problems in our life. It is very important as it acts like a reality check. This also enables us to improve our mental health conditions. So we can say that good mental health is also an integral part of healthy life. Thank you. Now, if Amrit is ready, we can move forward with the session. Okay, Amrit has not joined.
I would also like to ask if the SCAGE representatives are present here to announce the results of the competition that SCAGE had held in collaboration with ALAP.
Yeah, we're here.
Aisha, please continue with the results.
Thank you, Nishita. First of all, I would like to thank Allah for observing this day, that is World Mental Health Day. So we at SCAGE believe that physical, social, and mental well-being are equally important. So we collaborated with ALAP to organize Manankan, an online doodle making competition, so as to provide a platform for people to speak their minds through their art. We received an overwhelming response and were exuberant to see the creativity and avidity of participants. So, with your permission, I would request Yashwant to present his screen so as to put before you the beautiful artworks we received. Yashwant, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm presenting my screen now. Yeah, Arsha, please confirm me. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Go on. Okay. Thank you, Yashwant. So, as you all saw, the submissions were astoundingly good, and we had a really difficult time as judges in choosing the best one. Um, but as the winner had to be decided, so the winner by public opinion was selected by counting the total number of reacts received by them on the social media page. And the winner for that is Om Prava Mandal, Department of Civil Engineering from IIEST Shibpur. And so moving on to our next winners, decided by a judges panel on the basis of the following criteria. The first and foremost was the relevance to the topic, that was mental health. Secondly, the message that the art conveyed, and lastly, the overall aesthetics. So, dependent on the basis of the mentioned norms, the winners are Shaurya Verma, Department of Electrical Engineering from IIST Shivpur, and K. Srinidhi, Department of Civil Engineering from IIST Shivpur as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Yashwant and Archia. Your contribution to this event has been like extremely appreciated, and I truly have to say all the art like submitted for this competition has been extremely good. Congratulations to the winner. Now, Amrit has informed us that he won't be able to join due to technical problems, but Thespians is preparing a like a play for play like yeah, they are preparing a play on the topic of mental health awareness, which we will present tomorrow in the phase 2 of this event. Right now, I would ask Devdatta to present and show everyone what Reflexobeta's General Secretary Shivani Mandava Didi had to say for this event.
Thank you, Nishita, for the introduction. Okay, so tomorrow, that is the 11th of October 2020, we would be having the part 2 of this event. And during that, Thespians shall be showing us its drama video that they have created, the play, as well as we would be looking at Reflexobeta's performance video as well. So Reflexobeta has sent us a video message for all of us regarding the theme for ALAP and regarding the performance.
Good evening, one and all. I'm Shivani Mandava, the acting GS of Reflexobeta, the official dance club of IIST Shibpur. First of all, I'd like to thank ALAP for providing Reflexobeta with such a beautiful opportunity. I personally am very happy that mental health is becoming a priority for us all. Mental health is as important as physical health. We often tend to neglect or ignore that we aren't in complete mental health because the pointers for its identification are a little difficult to pick on. There is no set boundary as to what can make us feel low, and it can be temporary or chronic. What we have tried to portray in our performance is that we may feel low for any number of reasons, but it's important for us to remember that we always have people around us whom we can connect to and rise up together. Thank you.
I would like to thank on behalf of ALAP, Shivani Mandava Didi, for giving us this message. We are deeply thankful to you. We are waiting for your video to be launched tomorrow. Thank you. Over the floor, over Okay, so next, I guess we have Mudassir. Mudassir is a member of ALAP, so I would request Mudassir to show us the preview of the website that ALAP is preparing at this moment. So basically, we are trying to come up with a website that isn't to be launched very soon, but it would take time. But presently, we are working on it, and we would like to have suggestions and discussions regarding it. Every suggestion is welcome, and we would like to appreciate all types of anything like you would like to tell us or want us to add to it. Mudassir, please give us the preview of the website and what all it would be having.
Thank you, Devdatta. Okay, so let me present my screen first. Here. So basically, let me begin up with it. The website, although a bit incomplete, is published already. So the email address for that is www.alap2k20. Sorry. Okay, so here it is. This is the home page. We are at the home page. You can get the basic details. What ALAP is basically. What are the service that we provide, along with the chatbot here. You can give us the messages. We are connected to you whensoever this message pops up. Whenever you log into, and then these are all the details, the upcoming events site, the Instagram feed, and all. Let me talk about the website in a more aim oriented way. So, we as a team intend to induce community participation in matters of mental health. So, for that, we have this particular section, the blog section, and the forum section. The blog section of ALAP has a series of ALAPs where we members and others were would be managing this, and you can see things related to mental health, including videos of some TEDx, and we'll be posting other videos as well when we get to the professionals very well. So here you have some things like this. The today Ushi ma'am talked about the coping mechanisms, and yes, sir also talked about that. So this is one of the videos you can check out, and then releasing the stigma and getting to seek help and other such things you can check out here. And if you don't wish to have this, you only need a friend to talk, then we have the forum section where you can discuss with other members on the site, and you can check out whatsoever it is, and people on the site. For this you also can log in here. The login section is there. You can log in up with your email or Facebook IDs and the Gmail IDs you have. So you'll get connected to the community here, and other than that, we also as a team intend to expand mental health literacy. So we intend to conduct seminars and webinars in order to spread mental health awareness. For that, we have these things. We conduct seminars and webinars and all. You can get these things right here, and the upcoming events here. You can register right from here. You'll get the event details as soon as you click on any of the events. This was the event which was held right before the website launch anyways, but you'll see whatsoever it is the upcoming events. You'll get all the details, the time, and the people concerned with it. So this is a bit quite easy for everyone who gets here. And services as of yet what we provide, and then we'll add to the list whatsoever the things we intend to provide in the future. So here are the things. And then yes, the mental health literacy can also be used from the blog as well. So we can go after that, and then track of the mental health and understanding the social stigma and all that would be handled by the professionals we have, the team of psychologists and psychiatrists we have. So we as amateurs now won't be dealing with them. We will be acting as a friends or as the mediators between you and the diagnosed the person related to the diagnosis whom you want to connect, if you wish to. And then the responsibility of peers, and you'll have a good peer environment, because you'll have the forum part. You can discuss. We have a good website out there, the Buddy Project, where people suffering from the same problems come out through stigma, seeing that people from various parts of the world around me in the community also have the same problem, so they don't feel like I am the only alone, either sign of being weak and all such things. You can get a bit of what to say, a bit boost up that fear of being weak, that guilt won't be there. And in case you need some personal help, you can get in touch with us very soon. We have all the details out here. The Instagram we have, Facebook we have, and the email ID we have. So there it is. And then people are more coming up, and people would be coming. We would be conducting more such events, and yes, we'll conducting competitions as well, as today we did regarding the competitions and all. So we hope that this website also helps as a good place where you can check out all the things, and anyone else who is not connected to us personally, individually, some friends of yours, some relatives of yours, so you can directly give them the link, and then they'll be accessing all of this. And any updates, if not pushed separately on the website, this is the Instagram feed, so you'll get to know everything that goes on, and you'll have good content on mental health issues as well. As for now, we have this. We'll be posting regular content on the mental health on Instagram and Facebook. If you wish to, if you like, please do support us, help us to expand, and check out these things. This will be posted on Facebook and Instagram, and then you can see them right here on the website as well. So that's it as of now, and we'll hope to build it into a more fuller website as soon as we get to things. We are yet trying to get it as better as we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mudassir. I would like Nishita to continue with this.
Oh, Sahab.
Okay. So, Team Euphony has also prepared a small video about mental health awareness. So, I'll ask Devdatta to play it.
Hi, this is Priyam Chakraborty from ALAP. Maintenance of good mental health is as important as that of our physical health, because definition of health now includes the notion of mental health also. But unfortunately, in our society, we don't take proper care of our mental health. That is probably due to some social stigma or taboos, etc. So, keeping these in mind, a group of students from Kolkata are trying to frame an organization named ALAP that they are trying to mainly provide support to their friends, not as a psychologist, or I should say, not as a professional, but as their friends. Allah believes that it's okay not to be okay. That means if you are not feeling well, and if you are having some difficulty, then acknowledge it. If you are not feeling well, you are, so acknowledge it. And you can't stop the wave, but at least you can learn to surf. So if you are feeling any distress, go seek for a professional help. And maintenance of mental health does not always mean to visit a professional person, because maintenance of mental health is a process that you have to practice throughout the years. So to spread the awareness regarding mental health, ALAP is going to organize an event on this 10th of October, which is the World Mental Health Day. And ALAP is glad to have Dr. Ushri Bannerjee and the famous dancer Alokananda Roy amongst us, and we are very, very eager to see you with us. Thank you.
Thanks to Team Euphony for making that video and helping us out with this endeavor. And now I would like to invite Mrityunjoy from Team ALAP to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nishita. I, on behalf of ALAP, has the opportunity to deliver a vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Professor Ushri Bannerjee ma'am for her explanations. Further, we are grateful to Professor Somdeb Mitra sir for gracing us with his presence. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Ms. Parimita Gedam for giving an excellent coverage to topic. We are all inspired by your great words. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling a week ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues of SCAGE, QMB, Thespians, LitSoc, EDC, Euphony, and Reflexobeta, who know their job and are result-oriented. ALAP is fortunate enough to be with a very motivated group of teams, and for their involvement and willingness to take a task beyond their comfort zones. Stay tuned for World Mental Health Day Observation Part 2 with Ms. Olokananda Roy ma'am tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrityunjoy. So, Devdatta, I would like you to wrap up this program with your last final words.
All right. I would like to thank all the hosts for the session, all the conduction members, all the technical aspects, monitors, and everyone who has been sticking around every attendee here, all the invitees here. I would personally like to thank everyone as well as on the behalf of ALAP. I would love to have everyone to be attending the session tomorrow. That is with Ms. Alokananda Roy. We'll be having an interactive session tomorrow, and she is very enthusiastic about seeing you all in it. We will be posting all the videos that have been shown up today, as well as a few of the programs have been rescheduled to tomorrow, and thus we would be having a few programs like Manish Bale's drama video shall be played back tomorrow. Other than that, we would be watching Thespians drama video, Reflexobeta's dance performance, Alokananda Roy ma'am's session, as well as a few other events. We would like to have you all tomorrow again. So thank you. See you again. I would like Nishita to wrap it up finally.
Okay, so goodbye and good day to you all, and hope that you are doing well in this pandemic situation. We'll hope to see you in the second part of this program. So, goodbye for the day.
Also, please fill up the feedback forms that shall be provided to you shortly over the WhatsApp groups and over the Facebook pages as well as the Instagram pages. Thank you.